Hi again, everybody. It's time once again to cook with Wookiee. I know I don't have a shirt on. I'm kind of relaxed that way. Today's episode, we're going to do a lasagna in the oven from scratch. It's going to be gluten-free. Not necessarily casein-free because, lasagna has cheese and stuff in it, so. But we're going to do one really quickly for you. And so to start the ball rolling, first things first, I gotta wash my hands, and I happen to have a sink full of dishwater because, well, I use dish soap to wash my hands. Have done that for years. Wash paws. Paws washed. So I did a cake mix earlier, so that's in the oven for dinner. Now we're going to take our magic pan. I happen to use this pan for a lot of different things, especially when it comes to baking. We're going to put some water in it and prepare to cook our noodles. Okay, and I will show you what to do as soon as I rewash my hands, since I had an itch. And we'll begin. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's been a busy, hectic day. All right, so over the stove we go. So I'm going to light the fire to about medium on both front burners on the stove. And that's because we're going to do the meat and the noodles at the same time. Okay. There you guys go. It's about right around the halfway mark. I happen to have olive oil right here. Love the stuff. Just want to put a little bit in, maybe about a quarter cup or so, just like that. And you do that so that your noodles don't stick together while they cook. Okay, I'm gonna scoot this over to the other burner and let it warm up. Now in this other pan here that we have, I'm going to go ahead and get my sausage out. So this is the sausage I use to make my lasagnas. All right, it's not that expensive at all, and it's a really good, really flavorful sausage. I use three packages of this. If you want to cut down on the sausage flavor, you can mix part of it with hamburger, and that's fine too. I'm gonna fluff it with hamburger a little bit so that I have enough meat, because I only bought 2 instead of 3, because all they had out was 2. So I figured that was fine. That would be enough. So put it on there. Now you're gonna drain the sausage anyway, because it's a lot like chorizo in the fact that it gets very greasy. I put olive oil in the pan, especially on the bottom. Since I'm not using a frying pan, I'm using a pot to cook the meat in. This will allow it to cook without sticking to the bottom. Yes, I know. Whole lot of grease and oil. I'm from the generation that didn't really mind it all that much. Oh, bad blooper. Yeah, all this get in shape and get healthy stuff. Gotta love it. Back in the day when my mom was around and she worked on a farm, the get in shape working out part was throwing hay bales and dealing with the animals and all of that. I have a sink of dishwater sitting over here at pretty much all times. Because I tend to wash my hands a lot, for one. And two, I don't have a whole lot of room, so it helps me to keep up with the dishes. So, I got those two going. There, I got a little bit of meat. This is just 80-20 hamburger. And if you're wondering why I don't use leaner hamburger, it's because you want some fat in the hamburger anyway. If you use a leaner burger, you're gonna have drier meat. So that's where that comes from. You know, I want my beef to be juicy and flavorful and ready to go. Give me a moment while I whip out some of those dishes.
Excuse me.
Yes, love.
I need a refill.
Okay. And of course, wifey needs some tea. So, we'll get her some tea. Looks like she's brought her entire glass collection. Order me. Food. Now, do you want this refilled or not? Just the lemon tea? And that tea?
Hi guys!
They're watching meat cook at the moment.
Oh. Alright, I've been in a foul mood because I can't figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, tag.
What?
Removal of the tag.
Oh. Just found that if I do it this way, it doesn't tear the bags open. Alright. Woo. And I got that cooking. All this work.
Did you show them your little meat thing I bought for you?
Yep, long time ago.
Oh. I wonder if they said it before.
Alright.
Go look.
Yep.
And you guys have been commenting on the videos. Thank you. I love it. The beautiful sounds of it.
Trying to get this thing go.
Is it because of what you're making?
Yep. Huh? Well, it's
I know.
right here.
That's
so.
why I came over here, just to make sure. Thank you.
You're welcome, babe.
Oh, look at this.
Uh,
Look at this. This little fuck.
what? Huh? Yep, her pup is spoiled. Yep. Gonna let that cook. I use one of these for the meat. What that allows me to do is that allows me to break up that meat so that it's nice and even and small, so you don't get these really big chunks of sausage. There you go, babe. So you don't get the really big chunks of the sausage. However, like I said, it does tend to stick just a bit. You can see the grease splattering everywhere. So it's already started as far as that goes. And like I said, this is my norm. I do dishes while I'm cooking. That way, I keep the kitchen clean as best I can. Because I don't have a lot of counter space to deal with, so it's not like I can necessarily leave it around. You want to see what my kitchen looks like when I have a pain day. I have a kitchen video up in the cleaning video list about that and how to organize and all that other stuff. So you can visit over there for all of that. Let's see. Yes? Oh, nice. There you go. Alright, I'm trying to get everything out and ready so that I can do lasagna. Or as we used to call it in the restaurant, lasagna. It's not that it was bad, it was just that we thought it was funny. So I've got mozzarella. Some of you in Oregon will recognize that. Tillamook is a really good brand for those who don't know it. It is U.S., made in America. Comes from Tillamook, Oregon. And I'm a very big fan. He lived out there for a little bit. I took the tour of the facility and all that other stuff. So I feel like I have a little bit more to say about it. I couldn't find the provolone in that brand, so I just got King Soopers Organic. Or no, Simple Truth Organic. Sorry. Pretty much any of the mozzarellas are fine for that. Traditional, I usually use the garden variety, the chunky garden stuff, but King Soopers didn't have any when I was there, so I had to ad-lib. So the last time I made this stuff, I used these. gluten-free lasagna noodles. You're supposed to be able to put them in and without baking them. The noodles came out kind of hard still, so I don't know. I baked it for about an hour, which should have been plenty long enough. Maybe a little too long, I don't know. So and the wifey's not thrilled with those noodles either. It's hard for her to eat them when they're hard. So we're going to use today, and we're going to do it with spaghetti. Gluten-free, of course, as you can see. Spaghetti. Now, because I have a rounded pan, it's going to fit a little better in the pan. And I'm cooking the noodles in the pan for a reason. So. I usually grab a handful like this. Take them like this. You snap them. Be careful because there will be pieces that fly. So if you take your dish and snap it down into the dish, here, let's see if I can get it. I don't know if I can show you or not. I don't have a camera person. So use a spare wine bottle and see if I can show you. So you can see the top of my pan, like right here, or right here as the case is. And I'm hoping you can see the whole thing. I've been having trouble with the fact that I can see everything that I'm doing on the video screen, and then when I publish it, it only does about half. So take it like this, bend it down into the pot. Okay? And then you can just do your, sprinkle it like that. Okay? Take the other half of the box, do the same thing, make sure you got a good grip on it, or it will go everywhere. And it still tends to go everywhere. But, you know, working in the kitchen was never exactly the cleanest thing. It's not like working in an office. Okay, down. There you go. So that's an entire box of spaghetti. For that pan. Now, before you do anything else, grab yourself a fork. I have a large fork right here, so grab yourself a fork and just kind of stir it around a little bit, okay? I noticed that the gluten-free noodles, more than anything else, like to stick to each other, even with oil. They like to stick. All right, now, sorry about that. Back to what I was trying to say in the first place. Hopefully I won't dump that off of the thing. What I was trying to say was that the gluten-free noodles, more than the normal regular noodles, do like to stick to each other. Now if you kind of stir them up here and try and break them up and make sure they're all separate, the oil will keep them separate. You still have to stir every now and then, but the oil for the most part will keep them separate. Depends on how good of a job you did with that. Okay, and I'm hoping that I got enough. Ah, here's somebody ran away. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this over on my table to do this. Now what you don't see that I'm doing, I'm just pressing down, but since the grease was hot underneath and boiling, I needed to take it off the fire for a minute to get it to start stirring up and break some of the meat that's on top down. Alright. And like I said, our videos will get better, you know, once we start getting the new camera equipment in and stuff like that. Where I can hook it up and you guys can see everything. Ow! Oof. including me burning my tummy. Okay, so I was trying to break that up a little bit, put it back on the fire, and that's all you do for this. Kind of wait. I don't want to put an extra half a box in there, so just because I don't want to run out of noodles, because that will drive me nuts. And if any of you are like me, you're a noodle freak. So I like a whole lot of noodles. Wifey does too, so you know it works out that way. So box and a half of noodles, 3 pounds of sausage. Sorry, I've been working all day. I haven't taken too much of a break. Oh, hey. We can't have that now, can we? If you see stuff like splashing grease and things, take care of it right away so it doesn't make too big of a mess for you. Right. Now, because of the difference, you don't think it makes much of a difference, but those few minutes where I was trying to take care of the meat do make a difference on the noodles. And I want them al dente as best I can. So, yeah, that looks a lot better. Now, for those of you guys who think it's awesome that I cook without a shirt, it's great. Except that if you splash yourself, it's going to be painful. And I'm warning you right now. And you too, ladies, if you cook in the buff, it will be painful if you splash stuff on you. Okay? But I'm kind of used to it. I've done it this way forever. Oh, my cake. My cake should be done too by now. I can tell I'm getting tired because of my timing starting to get all whacked off. My timing is off, way off. Ooh. Okay. Cake. It's gonna be our dessert. I'm pretty sure it's done. That's what happened with the timer and the video a little while ago when it went off. The timer for the cake went off and I didn't respond. Right away. Still trying to get some of these noodles broke up. Had to open the door because it's a little bit beyond my heat tolerance right now. Which is why I'm not wearing a shirt. You know, we had you in the kitchens, and I did my fair share of pouring sweat over a hot stove, so. But, you know, like I said, when you're at home and you're cooking, things are slightly different. Okay? And all you do with this is just, it's like mashed potatoes. Mash it, put it in, and then twist. Okay. So, got your colander. That goes in the sink. The noodles are done for the most part. The ones I put in later are not quite done. They're still a little on the crispy side, as you can see, but the other ones are definitely done. You know, and it's up to you how done you want your noodles, you know, to bake off with. I try not to cook them thoroughly. Like I said, the al dente is just fine, because they're going to cook again. You're baking them off for 45 minutes, so they're going to still cook. All right. And then turn that off because I don't need it anymore. We're going to drain our noodles. Try and get all of them out of the pan. At least as best you can. Alright, that's pretty good, all things considered. Now, there's a reason I'm doing it that way, and that's because I'm going to end up spraying the pan on so the noodles don't stick when they bake. Alright? So that's the reason for that. So there is a method to my madness. There is definitely a method to my madness. So now we wait, hurry up and wait for this. Meat's still cooking. Now, if you want to, for all of you casein people, to cut down as much as you can. Put a little bit of oil after you've thrown it in the colander and stir it up. If you use butter instead of that, you're going to get more casein in your food. Okay, and you know, we're not trying to go balls to the wall on it. Okay. Now I'll show you what I'm doing here. With this, if I can, it'll let me. So all I'm doing, you can see it's still, a lot of the meat's quite raw, but I'm trying just to keep breaking it down. I'm breaking it up and stirring it. And it's hard to get some of it off the bottom. But, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. Like I said, just push it down and twist it like, you know, if you're smashing up potatoes to make mashed potatoes. For any of you who've done that manually. I know we have machines that'll do it for you, but I don't use a whole lot of them because to me it's more of a pain in the butt to clean the machine than it would have been just to do it myself anyway. See, and then you can just take your fins of your masher and pull some of that up and mix it in like that. Okay? Now, as I said, don't worry about all the grease and stuff in here. Don't panic because you will be draining it out. You'll be draining it out here in a little bit to make your lasagna. So, because you don't want all of that in your lasagna. That will create a mess. And the grease from the sausage and the spices and stuff from the sausage will flavor the hamburger, so you don't have to worry about that either. So my noodles are mixed, so they're not going to stick. And then the last but not least, I use cottage cheese. This just happens to be Metagold. I use cottage cheese instead of the ricotta because the wife and I are not a fan of ricotta cheese. So. All right, and then after that, after everything's done, we'll put it all together, okay? But until that time, I'm going to pause the video and relax for a minute. We're going to finish this up a little bit. So, here we go. Meat's still cooking, but it's pretty much done right now. If I can get the camera to stay up there. So, what you're looking for is to make sure that the meat is finely ground up for your lasagna. I'm not a fan of chunky meat because, well, it doesn't make things even in your dish. So, there are dishes that call for it, and that's fine. Lasagna is not one of them. So, just kind of stir it up. Make sure it's all done. Okay. Now, I put the strainer back in the sink. So I put the strainer back in the sink. We're gonna put the meat in there and strain it. Get all the grease out of it, and then we'll start the assembly process.